Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I'm here to give you the predictions for the year of 2026. And I have to say this is a very, very exciting year. There are going to be so many things that are going to change our lives, and definitely forever. So that is a bold and big statement to make for the year of 2026. And you're going to see as I go through this year just how much not only is the world going to change, but how much you personally are going to change. This is an incredible year. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go pretty much almost month by month, but what I want you to know is that this is an overview of what you can expect for the whole year. If you want to really understand this from a deeper perspective and get all the details about month by month and even certain degrees of the zodiac, then you're going to want to get my world predictions. I did an entire class on my world predictions that goes into deep, deep detail. And it was actually a 7-hour class. So if you want that, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and you will see where you can purchase these world predictions. And they are useful for the entire year, not just at the beginning of the year. Month by month, you will have exactly what to expect. So also, while you're at my website, galacticcenter.org, you can find all of the different services that I have, whether it's about readings, whether it's about my Patreon, which is my spiritual community. We meet weekly live. And if you want to learn Vedic astrology, I have a university. This year of 2026 is going to be stellar with the classes and all the new things that I'm implementing. So that is universityofvedicastrology.com. Now, last but not least, all of these events that I'm going to be talking about, you're going to want to know how they personally affect you, not just on a big global front. You're going to want to know how they affect you personally. And with that, you are going to have to look into my galactic planner, because it does exactly that. It takes your individual birth chart and applies everything that's happening to you. And you can get the guidance you need month by month, day by day. Check it out, galacticplanner.com. All right, with that, let's begin, because as I said, this year is a huge turning point. Everything is going to be changing this year. And it starts out with a huge big bang in January. In January, we're going to have a stellium of planets in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is all about truth, justice, really knowing things for what they are. And this is what's going to happen. I predict that something really big is going to happen in January. It's going to be a kickoff for the year. But particularly around the week of the 8th, and specifically January 9th, is the day that all the planets kind of merge together. There's going to be a Sun, Mars, and Venus conjunction, with Jupiter exactly opposing it. And this, I suspect, will make everything explode. There's going to be a big event during that week. I think it's got a lot to do with the stock market. It's going to explode. There are going to be extremes like you have never seen before. Explosions, big things, things that shift the energy. And I do think something good comes out of it. Absolutely. Watch how the stock market is going to go from high to low to high like never before. And there are going to be some explosive events around the world. And with my world predictions, I actually honed in more where things are going to be happening by using charts of countries. But let me just say, January starts out with a huge big bang. Everything kind of hits and happens. There is so much energy, but I have to say there's a lot of anger in the air from these explosive events. Anger and rage, and something to do also with travels and communications will take off this month in a big, gigantic way. So I'm seeing where Jupiter is aspecting these planets from the sign of Gemini, which deals with communications and especially something to do with travels. Even, I suspect, airline stocks will have a huge transitional change. Watch that, because we're talking Gemini and Sagittarius, the signs that deal with travels, which deal with adventure, deal with truth, communications, and really something's going to bust open about the truth and where what things are really about, what's going on. Some big revelations will come. So moving forward to February, we have got a solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse is an amazing one. It's going to be in Aquarius, and this eclipse really will shift energy. Eclipses always do. But I'm mainly thinking about right after the eclipse, which is around February 20th, we are going to also have on February 27th, this is going to be where Mars will cross over the degree of the eclipse. And I have always said that this marks an event. And Mars crossing over the eclipse is usually not an easy event. So it looks like there's going to be some violence or attacks, something around this time. It doesn't have to be exactly on the 27th, but it can be close. And also, around the day of the eclipse, we also have Saturn and Neptune will exactly conjunct at 6 degrees of Pisces. And I've been talking about this degree mark for so long because Saturn and Neptune have been at that degree last July, June, July, and even through August of 2025. And we had major floods and upsets in the world. And this should happen again around February 20th. And it could be a week before or after, but right around that time. That degree marking is the fixed star sheet, which is the star of sorrow and shipwreck, things on the ocean liners, as well as even thinking about, I know I keep talking about oil and gas. It is in the news that these are things that are being used and manipulated with different governments. You're going to see more of this. And even explosions where maybe there's leaks or oil spills. But either way, there is so much corruption and there is so many things that are being hidden from us. It is phenomenal. And I think a lot of that's going to surface as well. And really what I've been thinking about is Neptune deals with cults and things that control our minds. And with Saturn, it's like it comes out what's been happening. And I know we've been talking about how the media controls our minds, but there's something more than what they're saying. There's something like a frequency out there that is actually controlling our minds. But on top of that, I think we're going to have some revelations, because this year I am looking at a shift of awareness and consciousness. It really is true. I know so many metaphysicians are talking about this. The vibration and frequency of the planet is going to change. There's going to be an elevation. But let me tell you, there's going to be some people who can't handle it. Through fear, they're going to stay stuck. But letting go and realizing the truth and reality of where we are as humankind is going to elevate us. And yes, I believe wholeheartedly that alien contact is here this year. And with that, so many people, with the facts, will still deny it because they can't accept it. Their minds can't go there. There are so many repercussions with belief systems, with religions, with spirituality. So much is going to come up and people will resist. But with this, I think this is going to help incredibly with the elevation of our intelligence, because we can be helped incredibly. Incredibly, we can get information that will bring cures for disease and something to do with technology that will advance, and the way we travel will advance. All of these things are about to explode. It could be from some of the information we get from the aliens, and or the way AI is accelerating our consciousness and who we are and what we're capable of doing. This is going to change remarkably. So I'm also looking at around March 3rd, there's going to be a lunar eclipse that looks pretty intense. It will be in Leo and Aquarius. So I'm talking about the sun and the moon. And with that, believe it or not, Leo and Aquarius are probably the most political signs of the zodiac. Yes, they do deal with leadership as well as humanity. Leo is leadership and kings and presidents, while Aquarius is humanity. And this is taking a big turn in a different direction. How leadership and rulers rule. The world is taking on a whole different direction in this area. Now, this lunar eclipse is going to shift how we feel. And I want you to know that by March 14th, around that time, is the time that we have Mars conjunct Rahu. Mars Rahu is generally 9 times out of 10 violent with Rahu. This is going to be an explosion. And in Aquarius, it deals with some revelations of what we know and what is involved with space. Our space travel, what's out there in space. As I said, we're going to be connected more with what's out there and the life forms, the aliens, whatever you want to call them, extraterrestrials. It's a reality this year. But still, in March, we can have some major events of violence. It's just so amazing that humankind, mankind, is so violent still to this day. And I think that is what needs to wake up and change. To be an evolved humanity, we cannot be killing each other, thinking about war, but still so much money and so much has to go into protection for war because our planet is so warlike. And a lot of this is going to have to come up this year. because I believe there's going to be some very warlike events that occur. I do think there's going to be a lot of progress, though, with peace, bringing peace about. But no way are we a society or world of peace. We have a long way to go with that. So another thing is, you're going to see every month is going to have major events. I mean, it doesn't stop. So by April 19th, that's going to be when Mars and Saturn and Mercury all collide together at 13 degrees of Pisces. And we also have K2 at 13 degrees of Leo. There is a very harsh aspect at this time. And this is very devastating. This will also have major effects on weather, on floods, because Pisces does deal with floods and weather. And probably hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it, things that stir things up, and earthquakes. This is all coming about at this time. Amazing events. But by the end of May, we're going to start having some really beautiful times on the planet. Because during this time, we're going to have all three benefics. Benefic means good planets. The benefics are, in Vedic astrology and Western astrology, Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury. When they all come together, this is actually what we call in Vedic astrology a Saraswati yoga. And what that pertains to, Saraswati was the goddess of the arts, learning, education. All of this is going to open in a beautiful way. This is in the last part of May. It'll be in Gemini. And that pertains especially to learning and opening to new information. This is important. This is beautiful. This is very auspicious. Auspicious means really good. So then we're going to move into June, and we're going to have Jupiter by June 1st move back into Cancer, where it will stay till October 31st. While it's in Cancer, then we have Venus and Mercury move on into Cancer. By mid-June, or by the third week of June, we're going to have a Saraswati, but this time in Cancer. And while we have it in Cancer, Jupiter is exalted. While it was in Gemini, Mercury was in its own sign. So in May, it's going to be more about education, learning, and the arts, opening up to that. Major good things happening with the elevation, with how we communicate, and new understanding and learning. But by June, moving on into July, we're going to have the Saraswati in Cancer, where Jupiter is exalted. Jupiter will be into Cancer, but it's going to stay there only till October, from June 1st to October 31st. Then it's going to venture into Leo for a short time, and then it will go back into Cancer. So generally, Jupiter stays in a sign for approximately a year. But over the course of the past 2 years, it's been going in and out. So it's going to, it quickly goes through a sign and then retrogrades back and forth, back and forth. So what does it mean when Jupiter's in Cancer? It is a time of incredible expansion and positive things coming about. Why? Because Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. Jupiter is about opportunities, number one, but most of all, in Cancer, it's about spirituality. It's about philosophy, things that expand and grow our spirit. And this is where the elevation of consciousness will occur. And it's going to be where the economy, everything is going to be in a great, beautiful place. Yes, I know that everything right now in the beginning of the year, you're wondering how that could happen. But I promise you, by the time we get to June and July, the economy will be good. This will be like that golden age that everybody's been hoping for. But I think it's short-lived. It's amazing how this all works. So around the 22nd of July, I've been talking about that date for a long, long time, because that will be the date where the 3 outer planets all line up the same degree. They will be 60 degrees apart. And that's called the sextile. And it's about opportunities. And it is 3 signs away, which deals with creativity. And so while we have Pluto at 10 degrees of Capricorn, we will have Neptune at 10 degrees of Pisces, we will have Uranus at 10 degrees of Taurus, and Jupiter on the 22nd of July will be 10 degrees of Cancer. This lineup opens humanity. It raises consciousness. The outer planets deal with the collective unconscious, and it's being elevated. Who knows if we don't have help from the extraterrestrials? Because humanity needs this severely. We have been at a low point of consciousness for way too long, and I think there's going to be a new frequency that enters our planet. I know this is going to happen. Whether you think this is way out there or not, you'll see what I mean. And furthermore, like I said, it's going to be kind of short-lived, because I'm looking around August 22nd when K2 aligns with the Sun. Now, this isn't rare. It happens once a year, actually. Or because K2 actually aligned with the Sun around the date in September when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I predicted that someone would be taken down on that day, and it would be political. Why did I say that? Because K2 is loss, the Sun is leadership, and they were both in the sign of Leo that represents kings and leaders. So that's why I predicted it. Now, because Rahu and K2 stay in a sign for more than a year, they stay in a sign for a year and a half, this will occur again before they leave Leo and Aquarius. So we have K2 in Leo. It aligns with the Sun at 5 degrees of Leo. The nodes travel backwards, so in that time in September, August, September that they aligned in 2025, they were in a later degree. And while they back down to 5 degrees, we're going to have the Sun with K2 at 5 degrees. Why am I pointing out the 5 degrees so poignantly? I'll tell you why. That is conjunct the fixed star Regulus. And when I look at fixed stars, I want them to be exact. That's how they really make their imprint. And Regulus is the heart of the lion in the constellation of Leo. And it deals with kings and rulers. And let me just say, there are a lot of people that are going to be involved in an event that happens around August 22nd. Why? Because I saw so many people with degree markings that are in politics, that are leaders, actually around the world. This event is going to affect everyone. Now, trying to figure what this is, who it involves a lot of research. Now, another thing I do want to preface, this does not have to happen. Astrology is, we have free will. Things can change. But with the way the trend and the ball is rolling, it's really hard to change. So what I'm trying to say is there is going to be something huge that happens around this time, affects a world leader, as I said before. But this time, I happen to note that that degree marking affects Donald Trump's chart. His ascendant is 5-6 degrees of Leo. The ascendant is the most personal point in a chart. So, another thing I noted looking at all the people in his family, it affects all of them too. So, it is somebody in this family, if it is not Trump. But another thing is, it also affects, and you know, he's involved, Vice President Vance. His ascendant is in Leo. Yes, and there's going to be something that affects the United States seriously and the world around that time. So right when things are at their grand peak, we have this event that changes everything. And honestly, I sincerely hope that this can be averted. And it can. So looking further into the month of August, we do have a solar eclipse in August as well. And eclipses are always turning points, emotional turning points. And the energy is going to be so intense. And when following this, we have Jupiter will go into Leo October 31st, and it will be in Leo till about the third week of January of 2027. Then it'll come back into Cancer for about 6 months. But during that little short time from October 31st, October, November, December, January, 3 months that it's in Leo, it lines up with Mars in K2. As a matter of fact, this will take place in November. And this is another dramatic turning point that I can't even imagine could be happening, because Jupiter expands things. It's in Leo, the sign of leadership. It's with K2, which is losses. It's with Mars, which is violence. I think the whole world's going to be in an uproar after the events that happened in August. Yes, August, and looking at October, November is the chaos that evolves from that. Then, by the end of November, we're going to have the nodal axes shift signs. So Rahu's going to go into Capricorn and Ketu's going to go into Cancer. This will be around the end of November. So I know that this is going to be a big, tremendous shift. But everything that's happening, everything, is prompted by humanity. The emotions, the anger, the frustration, all the things that are bottled up in all of us will be reflected outward in the world. And one thing I can always say, because everything happens for a divine reason, it's pretty hard to understand that most of the time, but it does. And our world is about to change in so many dramatic ways this year. This is a year of great lessons and great turning points and transformations and the elevation of consciousness. You see, there is still this battle going on between the light, the dark, the negative, the positive, the spiritual. And this is the time where when one consciousness elevates and the other refuses to change and look at things from the different, more spiritual vantage point, that's where we have this collision and this clash. That will be happening in August, September, October, November. A spiritual, like, war. In a sense, a spiritual war. So that's what we're looking at this year. How will that affect you personally? Well, you better get your galactic planner. And let me tell you, this year, my galactic planner is going to be updated like you've never seen before. Pay attention. We are expanding it. We're changing it. It's going to become an app. And you're going to want to need this seriously to help understand what this all means for you. And this is a very dramatic year, and what I'm doing right here with this video is preparing you emotionally and spiritually so that you can protect yourself physically. This is it. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of all of the old ways that didn't work. And by all means, the forces that do not want the changes, the upliftment of consciousness, are going to be fighting so hard that we have this big clash that I'm talking about. And out of it will come a much better world. It will. It's time, and it's happening. And I just want to say there's so many good things about this year to come. I want you to focus on those things, especially the months of June and July. These are phenomenal times for spiritual growth and advancement and evolution of our humanity. It's just those forces that don't want to change will strike out. But remember, the light will always win. The spirituality will always come through. And this is what this year is about. The evolution of consciousness and spirituality. This is amazing. So get ready for this big transformation. It's here, it's going to happen. And I want to close with, may this be the best year ever of your life. So thank you for watching, and Happy New Year. Thank you.